Hello and welcome to Coronacrisis. My name's David Haythornthwaite and I'm the chairman of AFC Fylde. And over the next few weeks and months, I'm hopefully going to take you through what goes on behind the scenes of a non-league football team at times like this. We're going to discuss all the issues regarding behind the scenes, the players, off-field staff, all the things that contribute to the running of the club, and how we're dealing with the issues that are being thrown at us on a daily and weekly basis, so that it gives you a really good insight to the club and the running of clubs in general. So I look forward to you joining me on this journey.
Okay, David, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again for another part of Behind the Scenes of AFC Fylde. In this section, we'll look to cover, well, we understand there's been a bit of a development at Mill Farm this week, and also our fan base, as well as many other fan bases, players, and of course across the nation, has been doing some fundraising specifically for the NHS and other charities, which I think certainly deserves a mention from us.
Yeah.
So to begin, what's the big development with Mill Farm?
Well, it's probably been mentioned over the past couple of years. Those who are familiar with the development knows that it's called Mill Farm because in actual fact it was originally a farm that was itself called Mill Farm, and I just decided to keep that name. And when I purchased the land originally, we bought 30 acres surrounding the farm, but the original owner kept all the outbuildings and all that, and kept a lot of more acreage, about another 10-11 acres in total. And it's always been my ambition since the development got going, and we didn't know how successful it's been successful, to eventually one day to try and get the rest of that land. A number of reasons for that. One is it enables us to tidy up the whole site, and there's a number of opportunities there that goes with it. Firstly, we at the far end of the development, we've looked at to try and to bring some new training facilities. We won't be able to build those at the moment because we haven't got the funds to do it, but again, it's all about having the pieces in the jigsaw puzzle ready to place, shall we say. We've also looked at developing our academy and being able to bring in students that we can from all over the country and to put them up in digs, so to speak. Many years ago, when people used to come and say play for Blackpool, then they used to have, I don't really know this, Adam, they used to have like host families that they went with. I think in some cases they may still do, and you're 16, 17, you're away from home, and there's two Barnsley supporters maybe, whose children have flown the nest, and they want to look after those kids, or they volunteer to look after those kids, and their parents who are sending the kids feel safe, and safety of children is massive today, isn't it? So we've looked at the possibility of converting some of those existing buildings, one of the existing houses on there, so that we can house up to 20-24 students. And that would be fantastic development of our academy, and something that we've talked about doing for a long time. So that's another area that we can do with it. It also enables us to overcome one of the bugbears, I suppose, of the local council, and maybe not so much the local council, but more some of the council members who represent, say, some of a minority of the population in the sort of Kirkham and Wesham area, who are concerned about match day parking. And it's a situation I believe personally will not disappear no matter how many parking spaces you put. Some people always want to park, go for a pint and walk up to the ground. And even if you've got a free car park, they don't want to go into the car park. They want to always park where they've always parked and walk up. I can remember many years ago when I used to go to Blackpool with my dad, and he always tried to get almost the same parking spot every week when we went at the same time, and I can guarantee within 50 yards we parked in the same spot, unless it was a Man United or something like that. So that's that people are creatures of habit. But in order to comply with everything, then we need to really have a little bit more parking than we've got. And when I say parking, I mean parking which is, shall we say, official parking. We're parking now in a couple of other places, such as a hotel site, which may be sold off one day. So we need to find some permanent parking. This allows us to develop that and do that parking properly. The other thing it allows us to do is allows us a little bit more space now to eventually develop the north stand. You know, that's the only part that our fans would know, that anybody watching. We've got a three-sided ground at the moment. We wanted to wait to see what happened to decide what we should do. We're pretty clear now what we want to do. Again, it's not the time to build it now. We haven't got the money to build it now, but in the future, hopefully, when we come through this, then that'll be the next phase that we start on, is finishing the ground, so to speak. I mean, it is Football League standard now, so should we be fortunate enough to get promoted in the next couple of years, we're fine. But obviously we want to try and complete the ground. So again, getting access to that makes the parking problem kind of go away, allows us to have a little bit more space to build the north stand, allows us to put in student accommodation, allows us to put in some more training facilities. The other thing, of course, is that we've lacked seriously is a gym. And you know, we're sort of set up at the moment where we've got a temporary gym in the away concourse, as you probably know, Adam. You'll have done some interviews, so it's not very professional when you're trying to be a professional football club, having a sort of temporary gym, and the players hate it because they got to get everything out and then they got to put everything away. So again, we've earmarked one of those buildings on there to become a permanent gym for the football club. So it's a really great day for me, and in actual fact it's perfect timing, because today is the day that we've actually exchanged the contract and took possession and got the keys. I think almost as we speak, my solicitors are doing that, and tomorrow morning I'll be meeting up to collect those keys, and we'll have something that I've been chasing, I suppose, now for 3 or 4 years. So it's great we've been able to get that deal despite the coronavirus, despite the situation. We had a deal which we struck about 3 months ago, and you know, we've honoured our part of that deal and purchased the property. So I'm absolutely, you know, delighted that we've managed to do that, and I think for the people of immediately Kirkham and Wesham, you know, we've already been able to provide to them a 24-hour petrol station, Euro garages, which is packed all the time. Where everybody went, I don't know. We've got an Aldi which is packed all the time. We've got a Kentucky, currently there's a Burger King and a Starbucks drive-through being built. So we've got some, you know, amazing facilities. Some people would say drive-throughs, takeaways aren't amazing, but a lot of people think they are because they're always packed. And this is the next phase of that development. So again, I think it's bringing more, not only just to the Kirkham and Wesham area, but to the greater Fylde area. So great day for me, you know, the little milestone crossed, and one that I'm glad that I've got done. Hope I'm done down there now. I don't want to buy anything more down there, but I think it's going to be great. And we won't be doing anything immediately, Adam, for obvious reasons, as I've just said, because at the moment we've got to conserve every piece of cash. But once we start to see some light at the end of the tunnel, then we'll start to see some developments down there.
That's great news. That moves us on to their own fundraising that's taking place amongst our fan base, and I must stress amongst the nation and the world, and many other fan bases across both the Football League and the National League. Our fans are coming together to do a fundraising challenge for the NHS. Just as chairman of the club, that must make you quite proud to see a fan base coming together and wanting to do that, as well as many other chairmen must be.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know whether you're aware, Adam, but the British are by far, and I mean by a long way, the greatest nation of charity givers. You know, if there is a premiership, a world premiership of charity, we'd be champions, a bit like Liverpool this season, you know, 20 points clear or whatever. We'd be miles in front. I don't know why that is. But we are. And when as you know, I've been fortunate. I travel a lot on business, go all over the world. And, you know, here, if you sit and watch television, flick through any channel any night, you'll always see there's a charity advert, Save the Donkeys, whatever it may be. You know, a lot of times children who haven't got water, and we've all seen those adverts. If you go anywhere else in the world, you've never seen those. If you sit in America, you will never, I can't remember ever watching American TV. Somebody might correct me on this, and seeing a charity, you know, fundraising thing. We're amazing at it. So the fact now that all these other things are happening, and by the way, happy birthday, Tom. It's his birthday today, isn't it? And I missed his interview this morning. I was getting ready for you coming up, but wow, what an achievement. And it just goes to show how a little thing like what he did, you know, just captures the nation's hearts, doesn't it? You know, he just said, I'm going to walk around 100. But I think the fact he's the character he is, and I think that he fought in the war, and there he is with his medals and his tie, and unbelievable guy, has just touched everyone's hearts. And when that happens, then people, you know, just pour in. It became worldwide, didn't it? It became worldwide. Everybody loved the story. What's it, 28? Is it 28 million?
Nearly 30 million.
Is it nearly 30 million? Yeah. So absolutely fantastic. Shows what you can do. And of course, outside of that, there's lots of other sort of fundraising and charity things, and we're just brilliant at that, aren't we? We're just brilliant. We're a very giving people. We're a very kind-hearted people. And so it never ceases to amaze me what people do. And you know, I've been as you know, involved in a lot myself in raising money for the Soldiers Charity, and so I know all about fundraising. It's not easy, but there's some really great people out there who really contribute a lot to these kind of causes. And so I suppose it's only natural maybe that something came out of football in that way. And I know that this sort of charity's going on, Adam. I mean, what is involved exactly in that? I mean, I must admit I'm not really up to date on
it. Yeah,
it.
it's very recent. So our fans will be doing a 26-mile either run, walk, or
which they do
cycle.
a lot anyway, certainly cycling.
Exactly, the file flyers.
The file flyers,
so it's been organised, and in teams they will do essentially a marathon, so 26 miles, and each of them will donate either £1 or more in separate teams. So we've got a couple of teams coming together to do it at different times. So it may begin at 9:30. And then if it's 15 minutes it takes to do a mile, the next person will only begin their mile when the other one's finished. So it'll be an all-day event, and the family.
And is that on a nationwide as an all-day event?
Yes, we've got across the National League.
National.
Yeah, it was started elsewhere, and you know we've joined in for such a great cause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's all fantastic, and I think you know, at times like this, it also just makes people feel better, doesn't it? By giving something, being able to do something, and be able to help. Sometimes you feel helpless, but in this case, if you can help, it's fantastic. So good, and I hope you keep me updated on that, Adam. What's happening, and give my thanks and regards to some of those team. I know who they are. The cycling guys. So it's a good effort and well done.
Thank you for joining us.